Good morning and welcome again to one more episode of Trash Talk. Today we're going to talk about holiday and tree decor, and we have Prajat Usmani from the Department of Solid Waste Management. Hello.
Hey, good morning. Hello, how are you, Rita?
Great. How are you? Are you ready for the holidays?
Yes, but I think we have some questions about trees.
Yes. So, um, you know, I have both trees. I have artificial and I have natural. What do you think I have to do? Or please help me and tell me what I need to do when I'm done with the using my trees.
Yeah, so if you have a natural real tree,
Hmm.
for the first 2 weeks of January, residents throughout the county are able to set their Christmas trees or their holiday trees out on the curbside, and they'll be collected by your hauler. All haulers in the county are required to provide this service. Um, just make sure that there's no decor left on there, there's no lights, there's no tinsel or ornaments, and make sure that the tree is less than 8 feet tall. If it's too tall, it can't be collected. Um, and if you live in a condo or in an
Yes.
apartment, you can talk to your property manager about what you can do, of course, because you don't have a regular curbside. Um, if you miss that 2 week collection period, you can go ahead and take your tree to the I-66 transfer station in Fairfax, or you can take it to the I-95 landfill complex over at Lorton, Virginia. Just be aware that you will be charged a $9 fee for dropping it off. If you have a fake tree,
Yes.
ideally you want to keep using that fake tree until it completely falls apart. Say you're sick of that tree, what you can do is just go ahead and just donate it to a thrift store, a high school
Mhm.
theater club that might need props, or a few other places that might be looking for those trees, or schools. If your tree is broken and unusable, you can throw it away in your curbside trash can. Usually artificial trees have the little branches that you can hook out of them. So you can just
Yes.
toss those in there, and the pieces that it comes in, because usually artificial trees, as folks know that use them, they come in sections for the height. If and then you can just chuck that in your curbside trash can. If you don't want to do that, or it's too big to put in there, again, you can also just take it to the I-66 transfer station or the I-95 landfill complex. But beware that it will be $16 to drop it off, as a fee.
Good. Great to know. And how about the lights? I've tried putting on some lights and they're not working. They're broken.
Yeah, I've had to go through that. I've had to go through my entire collection to figure out what's working and not. So luckily, if you have all of those Christmas lights or holiday lights, um, do not put them in the trash or the recycling, because they are known as tanglers, and tanglers are things like wires or cables that get caught in the machinery, which can be really bad for the workers there, but it can also be toxic for the environment. You can go ahead and check with your local hardware store to find out if they take the old lights. You can also take those old broken tree lights or holiday lights to the e-waste disposal sites, again at the I-66 transfer station or the I-95 landfill complex.
Great. Thank you. And wrapping paper. So we all love to wrap our gifts, and there's so much paper left after we celebrate and open all these little gifts. What should I do with those?
Yeah, so in general, a good rule of thumb is if it's shiny, bright, or glittery, it has to go in the trash, because the stuff on
Mm.
there isn't itself paper. It's probably plastics and like composites of other sort of materials or wax that's like on there. So if
Mhm.
it's shiny, bright, or glittery, put it in the trash. If it's just plain paper that's not shiny or glossy, you can just put it in the curbside recycling bin. Just, of course, make sure you kind of take it off a little bit more carefully than you normally would. As far as ribbons and bows and the other stuff that you put on top of your presents, those can always be saved or reused on other gifting occasions, or you can donate them if they're in good condition. And if they're trash, if they look like trash, they can actually go in the trash, so you can do that. But what we recommend is that maybe instead of using the shiny bright paper that has to go in the trash, or these ribbons, is maybe switch to something that's more sustainable, like using newspaper or brown lunch bag papers and other materials like that instead, or other bags that are reusable year and year and year after year.
Yeah, that's great. You just have to become creative, right? And crafty.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. And how about all that food? We all have tons of holiday parties. We put out all these trays, and then the food sits around for a couple of hours, and we don't want to put it back in the refrigerator or consume it. Should I just throw that in the trash or?
The best thing to do, the first thing that you can do is try to produce less food if you don't think you need that much. I know that can be a little bit hard for the holidays, but if you do a little bit of planning, you can maybe adjust a little bit better for how many people you plan on entertaining or hosting. Of course, during the holidays, that can become very hard and you end up making a lot more food than you need. You can always compost it. So you never want to trash food. If it doesn't have to be, you can take it to be composted and you can drop off your composting at the I-66 facility transfer station or the I-95 landfill complex, where there are food collection bins that are open every single weekday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on the weekends. The only days that they won't be able to accept these items, the compost is, of course, Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, as they close early, and then Christmas Day and New Year's Day.
That makes sense. All right. And if someone has any other questions about all their waste produced during the holidays, where should they go and get this information?
They can go to Recycle or Trash What Goes Where. So you can just pop into Google What Goes Where, Fairfax County, and a web page should pop up where you can just simply type in tree, Christmas tree, holiday lights, wrapping paper, and you'll be told how you can dispose of those items. And before we sign off, you can take most of these items that we talked about to the 66 transfer station that's out in Fairfax, Virginia, or you can take them to the I-95 landfill complex that's out in Lorton, depending on where you're located. So your trees, your compost, your trashed holiday lights can all go to those facilities year
Take it
round.
all. Yeah.
Yeah.
All at once. Well, thank you so much. And I hope you have a very happy holiday season.
Yeah, you too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. See you next month.